All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us from, and welcome to the Microsoft Nigeria Security Community, where we talk about security topics around cloud as well as cybersecurity. And today we'll continue with our bi-monthly meetup. However, for this month, you're not going to have bi-monthly. We're going to have 3 sessions. Why? Because we did a review. We saw that the topic we're supposed to have in 2 weeks' time is actually very wide, and the topic we start again by next week. But today's topic is basically focusing on managing security posture by using Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So this is the beginning of a new series, and in our bi-weekly series, we'll be looking at Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and for the next 3 weeks, that is the topic we'll be diving deep into. So today we have one of our speaker. He has been here before, and we are also proud to have him today. But before then, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Emmanuel Itoje. I'm a Microsoft MVP as well as a Microsoft certified trainer. I'm one of the co-organizers of this event. And today I will also be a moderator for this event. And today we have one of our amazing speaker in the house today. His name is Damilola Afolabi. He's actually a full stack engineer. He's a cloud specialist and also a security specialist. Dami, we're happy to have you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So I'm trying to share my screen, but I'm having some technical issues. A second to push that through.
Okay.
And okay. So Teams, there you are. Then I hit share, and so that's it. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, can see your screen.
Great. So hello everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining today's session. Thank you, Emmanuel, for having me. Today, we will be discussing how to manage your security posture with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. The goal of this session is to equip you with practical, actionable knowledge that you can use to proactively identify, fix, and optimize your security posture, or secure your cloud environment. So to jump right in, or before I jump right in, a little introduction about myself. My name is Damilola Afolabi. I am a software engineer with experience architecting cloud environments, as well as architecting security landscape, assessing security landscape, and architecting security landscape for cloud environments. Using this. Okay. So to jump right in, what exactly is Microsoft Defender for Cloud at its core? So you can think of it as your centralized command center for security. It's designed to do 3 key things. First, it helps unify your DevOps security management. So this is about shifting security left, embedding it directly into the development processes from the code repository to the final deployment. We'll touch on how this prevents vulnerabilities from ever reaching production. Second, our main focus for today is its ability, that is the ability of Microsoft Defender for Cloud to strengthen and manage your cloud security posture. So this is where we'll get proactive. We're talking about a suite of tools from just security scanning to secure stores, a myriad of tools, often referred to with the with acronyms like CSPM and CWPP. Now, don't worry about that. We're going to demystify what this means in a minute. For example, CSPM means Cloud Security Posture Management, and it's like getting health checks for your cloud environment. It scans your configuration, tells you where you're exposed, while CWPP, meaning Cloud Workload Protection Platform. Cloud Workload, give me a second. See, that's my train of thought. Sorry about that. Okay. So, Cloud Workload Protection Platform. So that is your bodyguard for your individual resources. That is your virtual machine, your containers, and your databases. So thirdly, it actively protects your cloud workloads by detecting, responding to threats in real time. And critically, it isn't just for Microsoft only world. You can use Microsoft Defender for other platforms like AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and even your on-premise data center. So it provides this unified security layer across borders. So it gives you this true single plane of glass where you can manage your security posture across hybrid or multi-cloud landscape. Okay. Okay, so I've given a quick explanation of what Microsoft Defender for Cloud is, but technically, to define what Microsoft Defender for Cloud is, it's a cloud native application protection platform, cloud native application protection platform, or again, the acronym CNAPP. So it's a modern industry term, CNAPP. In case you hear that in the real world, maybe you're conversing with a fellow security expert and or someone in the cloud space and they just mentioned CNAPP, just know that it means cloud native application protection platform. An example of that is Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Although it sounds complex, the concept is pretty simple. It just means that instead of stitching together a dozen of security tools, the CNAPP integrates all the essential cloud security functions into one cohesive platform. And it combines the proactive posture and the management of CSPM with the real-time threats protection of CWPP. So it gives you this powerful capabilities where you can continuously assess and manage your cloud environment using secure store. You can explore in-depth regulatory compliances by mapping your environment against standards like ISO 27001, PCI DSS, and again, multi-cloud support. Aside that, there are some, given the rise of AI, there are some other benefits that it provides aside that unified platform across borders. It also has AI-powered threat detection, so that's smarter and faster than manual analysis. streamline management from a single console, and ultimately a reduced attack surface. So by the end of this session, you'll have a solid grasp of how to use Defender for Cloud and its full potential. You learn to utilize things like secure score and the resource inventory. We'll discuss how to get a qualifiable measure for security and pinpoint specific risks. We'll see how to assess compliance with major security frameworks using built-in dashboards, which again is a game changer for audits. We'll cover how to integrate specific industry or custom standards. Like I mentioned, specific industry standard like ISO 27001 or PCI DSS, or whether you have a custom standard, and to tailor compliance monitoring to the organization's unique needs. Finally, we're going to discuss how to connect your on-premise and other cloud environments to achieve that true centralized security management. I want to point out that this session doesn't include a live walkthrough or labs, but I've added screenshots, dashboard screenshots to help you better visualize the process. So let's talk about security score. Security score is one of the most powerful features in Defender for Cloud because it answers the fundamental question, how secure are we right now? It's not just a vanity metric, it's a dynamic score that reflects your security posture in real time. It does this by providing a unified dashboard that consolidates findings from all of your connected environments, whether it's Azure, AWS, GCP. It gives you a prioritized recommendation, telling you not just what's wrong, but what to fix first, based on the potential impact. You can track your score history to demonstrate improvements to your leadership, that is your company, your organization leadership or auditors. And it's all tied to a comprehensive resource inventory. So you can see the health status of every single asset you are protecting. If I had to draw on a real world example or a real world scenario, you can picture a financial service firm, who boosted their score from a worrying 45% to a strong 82%. So think of it like there's been some concerns in your organization about the security of your data. And as a security analyst or a security executive or a security engineer, you're able to use Microsoft Defender to assess your security posture using this security score tool. And initially your security score shows about 45%. So by following the recommendations provided to you by Microsoft Defender, you're able to boost it up to 82%, and you're able to show leadership who had the previous concerns that, okay, after looking at after assessing our security posture, we found that we had a security score of 45%, but we've made some changes, some adjustments, and we've been able to move or increase our security strength. I often like to call it security strength instead of security score, but the real world term is security score. So having done that, if they go ahead and ask you what exactly did you do to increase this, again, following Microsoft Defender's recommendations, you can see a list of tasks that you can perform to help improve this just based on that analysis itself. Now, you could go from like enabling just-in-time access to VM, or to close off persistent open ports, or maybe implementing adaptive application controls to whitelist approved software, or maybe enforcing multi-factor authenticator, which is MFA. So this illustration, pretty much it shows the actionable insights that Secure Score can provide to you. For instance, a common recommendation in Microsoft Defender for Cloud could be to enable MFA across all accounts with read permission, thereby implementing this single. By implementing this single recommendations, you can significantly boost your Secure Score from a low number to a more security standard level. So this is what the main dashboard looks like. Right away, you can get a sense of your overall security landscape. The first thing that jumps out is the security score, like I mentioned. It presents a percentage, making it easy to understand and communicate what your security posture is. You can immediately see the breakdown of completed versus recommended controls. And this view is designed to be your starting point every day, giving you the high-level situational awareness before we dive into the nitty-gritty of changing your security settings. So let's break down some key elements on this dashboard. You have the overall security score. So this is your headline number, your security GPA. It's a direct reflection of how your many security controls affect your entire cloud environment. You get to see, okay, what security controls you've actually implemented. Prioritize recommendation. This is a to-do list of sorts. So Defender for Cloud doesn't just dump hundreds of alerts on you, like, okay, change this, change that, close that port, close this. Somebody speaking in the background. Is that for me?
Sorry, go ahead. I'll mute the person.
Oh, okay. So prioritize recommendation. So rather than just barraging you, I'm not sure how to pronounce that word correctly. So is it berate? Like dumping an excess load of recommendation and alerts on you. It actually shows you a prioritized recommendation. So you can think of it again like a to-do list. So it tells you which actions will give you the biggest security boost for the least effort. And that's prioritized recommendation. Then you have the resource health. So this lets you see which of your specific VMs, databases, or storage accounts are on LD and why. Then you have the secure score history, or the score history for sure. This graph tracks your progress. So it's crucial for showing trends and proving the value of your security efforts over time. again, like that example I shared earlier, your leadership team complained about your security landscape, and as an engineer, you go into Microsoft Defender for Cloud to try to make some changes. And having made that changes, you've worked over a period of 1-2 months to make changes, and then there's a new audit, and you need to show proof of work that, okay, what have you guys done so far? Like, what has been the improvements? What has been the movement over time? So this core history is a great tool to show and prove value. Finally, we have filtering and grouping. So this is great for large organizations. You can slice and dice the data, focusing on specific subscriptions, resource groups, application environments, so that different teams can focus on what they own. For example, you work in a large organization with a large number of complex projects, each team working on a particular project, maybe in different subscriptions or different resource group. And then you get, would I say, a compliance audit, whereby you're supposed to assess or share a report of your security landscape. You can easily filter out details related to the particular project that you're being audited on. Now let's shift gears into compliance. So meeting regulatory standards can be one of the most challenging aspects of security. Microsoft Defender for Cloud streamlines this by mapping its built-in security controls directly to the requirements of major frameworks like ISO 27001. If you don't know what this is, it's the international standard for information security management, and other standards like NIST 653, so which is common in US federal space. There's also PCI DSS for anyone handling credit card data, and finally CSI. I mean, this CSI, no, thinking of a movie there. CIS controls, which are a set of globally recognized best practices. So instead of spending weeks with spreadsheets, manually checking your alignment with with different compliance, the compliance dashboard gives you a real-time view. So the bar chart here shows a typical outcome, a significant jump in compliance scores after implementing Defender's recommendation. So this is not just about passing an audit. It's about having a genuinely more secure and well-managed environment. As you can see here, take a closer look at this. So one company cut their ISO certification time by 40%, and that's a massive savings. That's massive savings in time and resource. Imagine you had a team, let's just scale it at 100%, and then you had like 60% or 50% of your team trying to check your compliance level. That is a lot of resources dedicated to a single task. But with Microsoft Defender for Cloud, you can actually cut down that time. So imagine reducing weeks for manual audit preparation down to just a few days, because you can simply just generate a report from Defender for Cloud. Again, sometimes I'm going to use Defender for Cloud and Microsoft Defender for Cloud. I mostly mean the same thing. So here's a look at the regulatory compliance dashboard in action. It presents a clear summary of your compliance posture against the standards you've chosen to monitor. So notice how it shows your score has a percentage and a fraction of past controls. The most powerful feature highlighted here is the download report button. With just a couple of clicks, you can generate a detailed compliance report in either CSV or PDF format. So it's incredibly valuable for providing evidence to auditors or for internal reporting. Again, saving teams countless hours of manual work. Imagine you had to go through every VM instance and database you have, or application gateway or load balancers to check or access, or maybe store accounts to check the compliance level of your infrastructure. Yeah. That could be like a countless amount of work, even for a larger organization that can afford the resources, the human resource to dedicate to that task. But this all simplifies all of that. So to quickly drill down on this compliance dashboard, there are several features that makes it so effective. You have the compliance score. So this gives you that at a glance status against each specific standard. Think about it like what you saw on the secure score page. On secure score page, you saw the secure score. On this page, you're seeing the compliance score. So you can click into the control details to see exactly which of your resources passed or failed a specific control, and get step-by-step remediation guidance. Again, you can see the export report feature, which is essential for audits, like I mentioned. You can see historical trends, which lets you see if your compliance posture is improving or degrading over time. And then you have the standard selection, which allows you to choose from a wide variety of built-in frameworks, or even add your own custom framework, which we'll look at in the next slide. So Defender for Cloud comes with a rich set of standards out of the box, covering everything from PCI DSS for finance, or HIPAA for healthcare, or NIST for government. The real power lies in making compliance an automated continuous process rather than a point-in-time scramble. Imagine you grew from a team of 10 to a team of 100, and there were no compliance guidelines in place. You weren't using a platform like Defender for Cloud, and then you need to be, there's a requirement to be audited. Everybody will start running scatter to make sure that they meet deadlines while still for that audit, while still carrying on their task. Well, by using a tool like Defender for Cloud, these things are handled behind the scenes for you, given different configuration parameters that you've already put in place. So a good example is, say, HIPAA, healthcare. So say you worked in an healthcare industry, by applying like HIPAA standards in Defender, the organization gains continuous visibility into the compliance status. So this not only slashes, again, the audit prep time from maybe 60% down but it also uncovers critical compliance gaps that you aren't aware of. Now, to enable this is just straightforward and simple. Just navigate to the compliance section and manage your policies for your subscription. You simply add the standards you need to adhere to. The platform then automatically starts assessing your resources against those controls that you've put in place, whether it's PCI DSS, EPA, NIST, ISO 27701, I trust, you name it. And even if your organization has its own internal security policies or a niche regulatory standard that isn't included by default. So this is where custom compliance standards come in. Defender for Cloud is flexible enough to let you tailor compliance to your specific needs. You can add custom initiatives built on Azure policies to represent your unique requirements. You can define your own controls, then map existing security recommendations to them. It's simply that what that does is that effectively translates your internal policies into a language that the platform itself, that is Azure Microsoft Defender for Cloud, can understand. So by doing that, you can monitor and report on your custom policies right alongside the standard ones like ISO and PCI, all within the same dashboard. So this flexibility is actually crucial for adapting to the constant changing landscape of regulations and internal governance. So in 2025, very few organizations live exclusively on the cloud. The reality of most enterprises is that they use a mix of Azure, AWS, and GCP, AWS, GCP, and on-premise infrastructure, especially organizations in health and finance industry. Even the government parastatals, there are I think it's called data domiciliary laws. Can't seem to recall right now, which define or restrict where data related to certain things are kept. For example, in the US, data related to US citizens' health are to be stored in the US. And data related to US military and government needs to be stored in the US. That's why you have things like GovCloud, which is different from the usual Azure subscriptions that you and I use. Aside that, also in the finance industry, banks often have a local store of their data. So they have local data centers, self-managed data center paired with cloud environments like Azure. Some even go ahead to use a multi-cloud strategy, including AWS or GCP. This problem is what Defender for Cloud is built to solve. So it provides that unified management layer, giving you a single plane and the ability to apply consistent security policies everywhere, whether it's Azure, AWS, GCP. So whether that VM is running on Azure or maybe on AWS VPC, you can ensure that it meets the same security baselines. So the scenario of the global finance firm is a testament to this power by centralizing policies, they can cut their alert investigation time by 60% because the analysts weren't jumping between different consoles. Now imagine your organization had multiple cloud infrastructure or platforms, yeah, and then you have to manage security across those platforms. Most likely what you would do is you probably plan multiple sprints, each one to manage the security controls of one platform. Then over time, you might still even need to compare and contrast switching tabs. So, but by using a product like Defender for Cloud, you can achieve a unified compliance reporting system and even automate remediation across the entire hybrid landscape. For example, say you have like a misconfigured storage account that was deleted. No, I mean, imagine you had a misconfigured storage account in AWS. Defender for Cloud could automatically trigger a remediation workflow to correct it without any manual intervention from you. And again, this is one of the efficient tools that CNAPP provides. So I hope you can see this clearly. This visual perfectly illustrates the end-to-end workflow in a multi-cloud context. It all starts with hardening your security posture. This is the proactive phase where you are configuring resources securely and managing your compliance requirements. The next stage is detecting threats and protecting your workloads, which is the real-time protection layer. Here you perform vulnerability assessments and blocking attacks. Finally, you have respond and automate, where this is where you assess security alerts, automate responses using tools like Logic Apps or ServiceNow and resolve incidents quickly. I also want to draw your attention to the logos at the bottom. This entire process is a consistent workflow that applies seamlessly across Azure, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platform, and even your on-premise hybrid cloud. Again, this is what we mean by a single pane of glass for comprehensive visibility and control. Everything we've discussed so far has been about securing the assets we know. Yeah. It's been about securing the assets we know we have, the assets we are familiar with. But what about the ones we don't know about? So this is the problem of shadow IT. And it's a massive blind spot for many organizations. This is where external attack surface management, that's the acronym is EASM, external attack surface management, comes in. EASM's job is to think like an hacker. It continuously scans the internet to discover all the external facing assets associated with your organization, either its domain, IP addresses, certificates, and more. It's designed to find those forgotten servers or those unsanctioned applications that represent a potential entry point for your attacker. For example, you might have critical workloads that have unpatched vulnerabilities. ASM can discover that. And by using Microsoft Defender for Cloud, you can find and fix all of this before an attacker does anything, essentially providing proactively securing your environment. So this chart here, it shows a typical discovery. The shadow IT slice is often surprisingly large. ESM gives you the complete visibility needed to manage the risk effectively. The continuous assessment of your external footprint is essential. Typically, what you would do, what a traditional security engineer would do is, write custom script, maybe using Metasploit or using Parquet for AWS to assess infrastructures that are external facing, that are public facing, to find out, okay, if any one of them has open ports and whatnot. But this simplifies the process. This actually takes the work out of your hands instead of brainstorming, thinking through the process, and missing a potential mark. ESM or external attack surface management handles this for you. And again, this is not just a one-time thing. It's a continuous assessment of your external footprint, for evolving threat landscapes. And here is the ESM dashboard. It gives you a comprehensive inventory of your entire external footprint. You can see metrics on your domain, host, your SSL certificates, and IP blocks. Most importantly, it provides attack surface insights, automatically categorizing observations by priority, whether it's high, medium, or low. It surfaces critical findings like Exchange server vulnerabilities or hosts with expired SSL certificates. This allows you to immediately focus on the most severe risks across your entire presence, and then gives you the ability to proactively manage your security posture. So to bring this all together, what are the key takeaways of our session today? First, unified security management. Defender for Cloud breaks things down into silos. It gives you this single pane of glass for managing security across your entire hybrid and multi-cloud landscape. Whether it's on-premise, AWS, GCP, or Azure, you can integrate and manage all of this all in one place. Secondly is security assessment. Through tools like Security Score and compliance dashboards, security is no longer a one-time project. It can continuously cycle and assess your environment, trigger remediation, and improve on your security posture without you doing much to change the original configurations you have in place. Thirdly, you have the streamlined regulatory compliance. You're going to efficiently meet complex compliance requirements, whether they are standard frameworks or your own custom policies, and then easily integrate reports to, easily generate reports to prove that your organization is actively following or actively being compliant to regulatory bodies, and prove that either to leadership or to your audit team, whether internal or external audits. The radar chart here, it visualizes the impact. When you implement a tool like Defender for Cloud, you see a dramatic improvement across all your security domains, from visibility and risk reduction to compliance and threat protection. The inner chart shows where the landscape was before, while the outer chart cast a wider net on the entire domain. And with that, we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you all for your time and attention. I hope this session has given you a clear understanding of how Microsoft Defender for Cloud can help you strengthen your security posture. Again, this journey doesn't end here. I encourage you to take the following steps if you haven't already. If you are not on your security team, you can recommend that they enable Microsoft Defender for Cloud on your subscription. If you are on your security team, you can go ahead and enable Microsoft Defender for Cloud on your subscription. And then with that, you can review your initial security score. Again, don't be discouraged by a low number. Use it as your baseline and start tackling the highest priority recommendations, because by looking at the dashboard, aside giving you the security score, Defender for Cloud also gives you a list of top priority recommendations that you should attend to right out of the bat. Next, you can go ahead to configure the compliance standards that is relevant to your organization or your business. And then you can begin connecting your non-Azure workloads. If you work in an organization or run an organization or run a team in an organization that uses hybrid or multi-cloud infrastructure, that way you can get comprehensive protection across your workloads. And finally, you can explore external attack surface management to start discovering threats on workloads that you don't know about. For example, when you deploy
Hi, Dami. How you there? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
We can hear you. I think we lost him.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
I think we lost him. So let's give him a second. While we're waiting for him, I will quickly share my screen. I think someone was recommended to share a live session. Okay, Dami, you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring this back. So that brings us to the end of today's session.
All right. Thank you so much, Dami. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes, perfect.
All right. So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
a very wonderful introduction there that we have there. Actually, today's session is actually focused on the introduction. However, I think our speaker he mentioned to me that he didn't have a subscription enabled. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually help him to sign into my portal just to show a few things and anything he wants to contribute also. But however, I mentioned at the beginning of the session that for this month, instead of having by monthly, we're gonna have 3 sessions this month. Why? Because the next session we're supposed to have 2 weeks in 2 weeks from now is actually a very wide session. That's when we'll go into the hands-on of the session, right? But however, because of how wide it is, so we decided to break that session into two. So the part one of that session will happen next week. So our speaker will be Joy Emedu. She'll be with us for that part one of that session, as well as the part two of the session, where we'll be looking at how to configure, manage threat protection by using the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. But for the meantime, I will share my screen just for 30 minutes or so, just to show us something. So please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right, so if you go to portal.azure.com and you sign into your account, if you have the subscription, so you can just type Defender for Cloud. So there are a lot of ways you can get there. Either you type Defender for Cloud, you will get it here, or you go to the hamburger icon, then go to All Services. So when you go to All Services, which is actually a long route anyway, I usually do type it. So I think I'm under, if you scroll down, is it under general now? I can't remember. So that's why Microsoft provided that. Let me go under security here. If you're going to see it under security, Defender for Cloud. So I think that's why Microsoft provided the opportunity. Okay, so is it under security? So instead of looking for it up and down, just use your search bar and search for it. Then go into the Defender for Cloud. Please, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, we can see
we
it.
can see your screen.
So I think you need to drop and join back, right? So the
I
first,
need to as well.
yeah, the first thing you want to do, so in the Defender for Cloud portal, okay, I think the person's network is actually having an issue. Let me mute the person, 1 second. All right, so the next thing, so the Defender for Cloud portal has these three major blades. We have the general blade that has the overview, the setup, attack part, and this. Then we have the part where our speaker mentioned under cloud security. When we talk about security posture, regulatory compliance, workload protections. So you mentioned all this. Then the last part is the management part, where you have the environmental settings. So first of all, though I might not be able to show you that here, first of all, you need to connect. When you say connect your subscription to Defender for Cloud or enable it, so here on my tenant, I have two subscriptions on this tenant, which both of them has already been unfortunately been connected already to Defender for Cloud, right? So once that is done under the environmental settings, so you can now go into your cloud security, yeah. So you can set the first one, which is security posture, right? So under security posture, you mentioned secure score, but if you go back to the overview page here, so this is actually going to give you the single pane that you mentioned, right? Where we have the security posture here, we have the regulatory compliance here. If you scroll down, you're going to see workload protection, then inventory. So he mentioned all this in his presentation. So if you want to check, if you want to explore the security posture or go into the security posture dashboard, so this will give you an idea of the total. What is your secure score? So at the moment, the average score for this tenant environment is 32%. That means if you check below each of the subscription, this subscription has 37%, while this has 29%. And if you look further, you'll be able to see that if you click on under recommendation, it mentioned the recommendation here. If you click on the recommendation here, what you're going to have you're going to see different recommendation based on the resources that you currently have in your environment. So the recommendations are categorized into high, medium, and low. So for me now, it's showing me that some of my resources they have high risks that I need to actually, do something about them. Then I think I have medium and some low as well. I can do things here. I can download this as a report. Maybe I want to, one of the things I did in my previous organization was that when I joined the organization, I went into the Defender for Cloud because we have a lot of cloud resources, even though it's a demo environment. So I went into the Defender for Cloud to check all these things, right? Then I downloaded the CSV report. I share with our CIO for them to know, okay, this is our current state as an organization, right? So that we can know, okay, which are the things that we want to prioritize in terms of remediations. So if I go to, let me just go to one of these recommendations, for example. So that will basically open inside the recommendations. So it's going to give you the description why that is actually there. So there's over provision identity in Azure, that those are granted more than one permission. That means I've granted some people more than the necessary permission, meaning that I didn't follow the zero trust security model here. Then under here is going to basically show you a remediation. So it's making it so easy that the step to do to actually remediate is written for you here. So you'll be able to follow these steps. Once you follow these steps, right, you'll be able to remediate that particular action. So it makes it very, very easy. So even from here, I can click on view rules and permission, and it will basically take me into where those rules and the permissions are for that are currently on use. So it's telling me that I have a total of 6,692 unused permissions. Then I'm currently only using just 3 permissions here, right? And if you go down again, there's a workflow automation. I've not actually set up a logic app, right? I think mean I've already created a logic app on this environment now. I can trigger the logic app here, and this will do an automatic remediation. That means it's going to resolve that for me automatically. But because I have not created any logic app there, that will not actually trigger. So you mentioned things around governance, right? PCI scores, PCI range, right? These are some of the things that you're going to see for that resource. Let me go back again here. So that's for security posture, where you're able to see your secure score. Based so depending on the number of subscription you have and the ones that you've already onboarded, you'll be able to see that details here under the security posture. Now you can even go into the secure score over time. You want to take an average of, okay, how has it been since this tenant has been set up? How has our secure score been? So maybe you want to select the workspaces that you have, then look at the range, and it's going to give you the secure score based on those range. So let me just select this, for example, and select in the last 30 days. So it's going to basically give you an aggregated score based on what you selected. So I don't currently have any data available for that. So it's not producing anything for me. Then the second thing they mentioned is about regulatory compliance. Now, we want to ensure that all our resources are compliant based on industry regulations. So if you're in fintech, for example, now there are some regulatory bodies that you're expected to be compliant with, right? So if you go down here, you will see that I have a whole lot of compliance control that are available. Now it's segregated them into different category. I have Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark here. If I go under Azure CSPM here, it's going to give me a whole details of other things. Like for example, now I have some assessments, right? Things that I can actually do to ensure that I'm compliant with Azure CSPM. Then the same thing with CIS Azure Foundation too, right? So it's going to give me some things. So definitely when you see an X, that means what? Something needs to be done. That particular resource is not 100% compliance. So let me go back to this Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark. And let me just pick any random one under network security. So I can see that some of my resources are actually compliant, while some are not compliant. So for this one, that says establish network segmentation boundaries, for example. If I click on control details here, so what is going to happen is that it's going to give me overview of what that particular benchmark is talking about, then the action that is pending on me, what are the things that I need to do as a security architect to ensure that I'm actually compliant here. So I'll be able to see, it's going to give me more details. You'll be able to go dig further into it to see, okay, this is something that has not been done. There's no network segmentation. Now it's telling me that all network ports should be restricted from or network security group associated with your virtual machines. Now, you don't just go ahead to do a remediation. Now, one of the things after downloading this report and sharing with the team, we have to ensure that each of those resource owner, so they have to come and explain, okay, this Defender for Cloud is saying that I need to ensure that this is done. Why are you not doing it? Okay, they will not give us a justification. The reason why this has not been done is because of this and this and that. Then we'll be able to provide justification. So it goes into the audit report that, okay, the reason why this was not implemented for this particular resource is because this and this. So that goes, so in case an auditor comes to check and review and see this, they'll be able to see it, that already we've actually taken steps to wanted to remediate it. However, the developer or the DevOps engineer that is using the resource mentioned that if they implement this, it's going to affect them for this. And if there's any safeguards that have actually been put in place, everything will also be documented as well. So these are the part of the compliance. So there are various categories. If you click on manage compliance standard here, so this is going to show you different compliance standard that we have, like things around governance rule that you can actually you created. But these are things that your enterprise architect with your I think we call them the governance team. They have to actually sit on and explain, okay, we need this particular governance rule to be created. And if that has been established between both the engineering team as well as the governance team, then your work is to, based on what the governance team has provided for you, you just come here to basically create the governance room. I don't want to actually create anything because this tenant is actually a production tenant. I don't want to create something and there's going to be an issue in the future, right? So that's why I'm not creating anything, but I'm just showing us round of the environment. Our next speaker next week should be able to do some creation just to actually show us some of these things, right? And how you approach it. You don't just see an issue, then start fixing it. I remember an experience that I had with someone. He joined the organization and he was checking things. He started implementing things without reaching out to the change management team. That's what I was trying to remember. So our governance team is responsible for change management. Now, even as a security architect, when you join an organization, when I join an organization, the first thing I check, if I have access to these things, I check all those scores. Secure score, I go to Defender XDR to check secure score. I check identity score. I check compliance score. Why? So after checking all those scores, my work is just to download the report. After downloading the report, I'll share with the necessary departments. It could be the governance team, it could be the CIO or the CTO, right? Once they share, we'll now review the reports together. So from the reports, we'll now determine, okay, which of this control do we actually need or that is applicable to our industry? So after we've highlighted them, if you download the report is actually going to be in front, it's be a CSV format like an Excel file or PDF, or you can always select a CSV here. Let me click on download. So you see an idea of how the report is going to look like. I'm waiting for it to open. So once you share the report to the team, you're not supposed to start implementing. Rather, you're supposed to discuss with the governance team. So for the organization I work with, we have a governance team that review everything. That why is all these things failing? Okay, who are the resource owner? Once we know the resource owner, we'll now just have a conversation with this person. Okay, these are things that we notice in the environment based on this report, and we have these recommendations. Can we go ahead to implement all these recommendations? If yes, then we'll create a change request. And the change request will go through the necessary department, the change management team, everybody will approve. So until you get a necessary approval, before you start implementing stuff. You don't just jump in and start implementing that, because if you implement something and it has not gone through the change management process, and at the end of the day, after implementing, yes, it's happened to a friend of mine. I'm telling you a real life example. He just told me that he's trying to implement, he's trying to ensure that our tenant is secure. I just told him, just go to secure score. He just saw a lot of things. He started doing recommendations. Meanwhile, some of those things, they don't even need them. Some of them will affect something that is happening. They just started finding out that things were actually happening, and what happened? Oh, it was the things he implemented. So again, you have to always discuss with your change management team before you start implementing things. Now, the next one under the cloud security is a workload protection. Now, the workload protection focuses on all the various workloads that you have in your tenant. Now, for this, now we have the keywords, we have the storage, we have the app service, we have the server, and we have the resource manager subscription. Now, you can see that it's telling me upgrade here. The reason why it's telling me upgrade there is because by default, Defender for Cloud has a free version that comes by default, but it doesn't cover everything. So there is, if based on the resources that you have in your tenant, now is telling me that I have 0 of 3 here because I have 3 servers, and none of them, I don't have Defender for server. So we have different type of Defender products. So we have the Defender for storage, Defender for app service, Defender for servers, and all that, right? But you have to actually, it's actually cost, depending on the workload that you have on Azure and the workload that are very much important for you, to secure. Now, if I go into this now, I think one of my keywords out of the 2 is currently secure, but it's going to ask me to upgrade, which I don't want to. Okay, let me just try this. Defender for keyword for cloud native. Okay, upgrade. He's telling me to add my credit card. He's on his own. So he's giving me a trial here. So these are some of the resources. So it was able to show me that I have each of the following resources. I have 3 servers that need Defender for server plan 2. I have app service instances, right? I don't have any Azure SQL database. Then I have 3 storage accounts. Then I have 2 keywords. So the amounts for each of them is going to tell you. So if what I'm interested is in Defender for server, so that means per server, I'll be paying $15 per server per month to have that. So that means once I had a trial before, but the trial has expired. So that's why it's telling me to upgrade. So if I upgrade it now, right, for any of the subscriptions, so it's going to activate everything for me. But I can decide to say, okay, I don't want to protect my storage for now. I think my storage are protected, is okay. I don't upgrade for that. So I only focus on the resources that I actually want to protect. So that's what the part of workload protection does. Then for data and AI security, now we are in the area of AI. So we have Azure AI Foundry, right? So if I have AI resources on the tenant, right? The Defender for Cloud is also does the work of data and AI security. So there's some data that I have. I can't remember. I know I deployed some resources in the past. I can't remember. Maybe I still have them. So it told me here that I have 4 related recommendation for critical, right? So this will be able to show me, okay, Defender CSPM here. She's going to show me, right, that I have this for. So if you see this, so I have an Azure AI Foundry project that I have, then Entra ID when connecting to Azure AI Foundry, right? So that means I have to basically activate that, upgrade the subscription, because it's still the foundational CSPM that is using here, but I have to upgrade to be able to do that too. Defender for Cloud also help you to protect your data as well as your AI resources. So I have a machine learning workspace, right? That somebody has applied. I'm sure I'm not the one that did it. It's somebody that I have access to this account that did that. So it's recommended that these 4 resources are actually critical for me to, protect with Defender for Cloud. Then it's also help with Firewall Manager. So with Firewall Manager, if you're in your organization, you need an Azure firewall, or you need a DDoS protection, or web application firewall, depending on what you want, right? You can always create those resources, and they are actually network resources, right? That is just actually introduced into the Defender for Cloud. So for the Firewall Manager, you're able to see that we have the Azure Firewall and the Azure Firewall policy that you can actually create here. We have a session on network security earlier. Then we have the web application firewall and DDoS protection here that you can always, configure based on your business requirements or your organization. Then under the cloud security, the last one is on the DevOps security. So it does the work of when you hear DevSecOps, what is doing the sec work there is the Defender for Cloud. So meaning that I can actually connect my environment. So if I have a GitHub environment, so if you click on add an environment here, you're able to see the different type of environment that you can actually connect. So if it's a GitHub that your organization is using, or you're using an Azure DevOps environment or a GitLab, you can connect any of the environments here. So meaning that as you're doing your CI/CD pipeline, right, Defender for that is helping you to scan your code for any vulnerabilities and all that. I don't want to do anything like that, but just to show us that you can actually, connect your DevOps environment for your CI/CD pipeline, right, into Defender for Cloud, and you'll be able to use Defender for Cloud to actually secure the solution. Then, so that's about the cloud security part. Now, if you have to look at under the general part here, so I like to look at security alerts here. Now, for security alerts, so currently I don't actually have any alerts on this environment here. But what this does is that based on if there is any DDoS attack or anything that is affecting your resources on the cloud in Azure, right? Defender for Cloud is able to actually generate alerts for you here, and you'll be able to see if there is any alert that actually need immediate remediations for you to actually look into. Then also, if there are any attack happening in any of your resources. For now, I have no attack path. That's why it's giving me 0 here, right? Defender for Cloud is also able to help you to do an analysis of how the bad actor is trying to, attack your resources based on what is being done, basically. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show us basically on Defender for Cloud. I don't know if you have any question. I'm open to question. If you have question for our speaker also. So I had to just help him there because of his subscription. So any question, guys? Do you have any question? Yeah, Solomon, you're welcome. Any question? So we're going to, next week, we'll be having Joy Emedo helping us do some configurations. So it's going to be 2 parts. We're going to break it into next week and upper week. So it's not going to be bi-monthly this month. I told us we're having 3 classes this month. So we'd like to have you all join us so that by next week, Joy will be diving deeper into the subject of Defender for Cloud. So we have it next week and upper week. Then after then, we'll now look into the Microsoft Sentinel. Yeah, the recording will be available. So just subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? So as soon as it is uploaded, you'll be able to you get access to the recording. Dami, thank you so much. Do you have any last word for our participants today? So there's a question for you, Dami. Dami, Theodora is asking the question. Sorry. Can you throw more light on the? Yes, I'm trying to read it down. Can you throw more light on the concept of shadow IT? Hi, Dami. Are you still there? You're taking on mute.
Sorry, yeah, I was talking on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, shadow IT. How do I put this? So, shadow IT is pretty much any software or hardware that is used in an environment without explicit knowledge, or maybe approval from like the central IT department. That's the general concept of shadow IT. So if I had to put that into simple words, so for each project, you guys companies deploy resources. Most of the time, those resources go through a change management process, so an approval process, okay? but sometimes developers or engineers who want to test things out often deploy resources without approval just to test things out. So those kind of resources are often called shadow. Those are what you classify as shadow IT, because they didn't go through the normal approval process, and the organization, although it exists in the organization space, and this here we're talking about software. For hardware, it could be maybe you bring in an extra, maybe Wi-Fi into the organization, into the building, or maybe an extra mobile phone into the building where in a secure environment where mobile phones are not allowed, that kind of thing. So that's pretty much the concept. Because the organization didn't approve that device or that resource, it didn't go through the normal vetting process, security vetting process. So that's a plain analysis. That's a plain example of shadow IT. Now, in the concept of Microsoft Defender for Cloud, where I mentioned shadow IT, what Defender for Cloud does is it goes ahead and checks the environment for resources that you don't know about. So every resource that is on the tenant scans through them and pretty much tries to run using the EASM feature of Azure. It scans for vulnerable resources, like it scans through the internet from the perspective of an attacker to find, I say, maybe websites, services, or login pages connected to your organization and that might be vulnerable. Whether you know the login page, or, for example, let's say, like I explained earlier, a developer just deploys a web application on your tenant, on your Azure tenant, and on that web application, there's a login page. Okay. Now that application, that VM that web application that was deployed is not secure, or is deployed into maybe a resource group that has some, would I say, sensitive data. EASM can go ahead and scan the internet and find that login page attached to that resource that developer has deployed and flagged it. So did all of that make any sense, or do you want me to dive deeper?
Okay, Teda, let me put it in a layman for you. You are trying to do IT work. Normally, IT is supposed to install your applications for you. You are saying no, I can install. I have IT knowledge. So that's shadow IT you're doing, right? Or
Yeah,
you're saying that I want to the organization already provided you with a work laptop and also maybe mobile phone to access your organization resource, your Teams, Outlook. You said no, I want to be able to access on my own personal device. Those are shadow IT. So basically, if you are doing something that is not expressly approved by your organization, you want to download application on your own and install, or maybe there's a way that organization or the applications, approved applications to install goes through the company portal. You are saying, no, I know how to use Google. Let me just type how to download something on Google and try to download it directly from internet. Those are shadow IT. So we have another question, right? Rafa is asking that, can custom alerts be created on Microsoft Defender for Cloud? Can custom alerts be created from Microsoft Defender for Cloud? So for me, what I know is actually that for Microsoft Defender for Cloud, I'm not sure, but Microsoft Defender for IoT, you can create a custom alert for IoT, but for Defender for Cloud itself, I'm not sure about it because I've not actually seen a button to create it at all on the portal. But for Defender for IoT, yes, you can create. So I don't know, Dami, if you want to add to that. You're talking on mute, Dami, in case you're talking.
Yeah. So yeah, I said I have nothing else to add.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Someone is asking that Microsoft is it a security tool like Microsoft Defender? So Microsoft Intune is actually an MDM and MEM application. What is MDM? Mobile device management and mobile application management. That is what Microsoft Intune is. So basically, for organization, you want to manage your devices, any device that is joined to the domain, maybe is hybrid join or intra ID join. You can use Intune to basically manage policies. You can create a lot of things. It's just like GPO, right? So the on-prem version of Intune used to be Microsoft System Center Configuration Manager, SCCM, right? So the cloud version is not the Intune that Microsoft is actually pushing into market. You can use Intune to install applications on device. You can even use it for, there's something that one of the projects I did in my previous organization, we call it Windows Autopilot, meaning that we've set up a policy in which the moment a system that a new system, as you are removed from the carton and connecting to the organization internet, we don't need to do anything at all. It will set up automatically. We call it Windows Autopilot, right? So the only thing we have to do is that we've already collected the hash ID from the manufacturer, and we've uploaded all the hash ID of the devices on our Intune portal. So the moment you connect, it's going to recognize that this device, this is the hash ID, and it's going to set up on its own automatically. The only thing that the user, maybe the new employee that we're using it need to do is just the username and password that we've created, sign in, and everything will automatically set up. So Intune is for mobile device management and mobile application management. However, it can be linked to Microsoft Defender for endpoints because part of the features that is available for Intune is actually endpoint security. I'm trying to go into an Intune portal, so I'll just show you what an Intune is, even though Intune is not part of our discussion today. So let me just show you what how the Intune portal basically looks like. Okay, so if you go to intune.microsoft.com, please confirm you can see my screen. Right. So you'll be able to see. So if you have
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, so if you have devices in your organization that you've joined, maybe hybrid or intra join, you'll be able to see them, be it Windows devices, iOS, iPad OS, Mac OS, Android, even Linux devices. You can manage them using that Intune. So you can manage by platform, right? Like platform means that any of the devices, OS that you're using in your organization, then you can do what we call device onboarding, right? So in your organization, if you're using Windows 365, for example, now, you can actually onboard such device in Intune such a way that you'll be able to manage it from Intune. Maybe institutional by maybe a user or an employee lost the official laptop, and that official laptop has a lot of confidential documents there. You can use Intune to do a remote wipe. You clean the whole laptop, even though they are trying to break into the laptop. Every organization data is protected and secure. And this was the enrollment that I was talking about that you can leverage on using Intune autopilot. You see it under here, Windows autopilot here. It's a very, very good feature that it can free the IT guys or the support guy that need to be setting up system manually. It's free them from that. You've already configured it, all the application that they need, everything has already been added, right? So it will install both the application that the user will be needing and all that. So that's another part. But Intune is something that we don't discuss in this community, but we discuss in a different community. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
You're welcome. Do you have more questions, guys? So Franca is asking how to set up Azure trial tenant. So it's a mistake I made saying trial tenant. It's actually Azure credit or Azure subscription. So what you can do is you can just type azure.com. So Microsoft is going to give you an Azure credit, but you must actually add your credit card. But as at today, I was hearing that some of our Nigerian cards can be used now. So if you want to get started with Azure, just click on get started with Azure, yeah. Then try Azure for free. So it's going to ask you for some of your details and credit card to validate that you are actually a real person. So what you do here, just put your personal email. You just put your personal email here, right? Once you put your personal email, you'll be able to sign in. Once you sign in, so what it's going to give to you as a tenant is you'll be able to manage your personal email. But if you need to do other stuff, you can now go into the Entra ID to create a user like a global admin, then grant the global admin the owner wrote to that subscription, and you have a tenant. So instead of using your personal email, you'll be using the global admin to manage it. Yeah, so that's so but the credit is only for 1 month. It's 200 credits for you to try stuffs on Azure, but it's limited to things that you can actually try. So either if the credits exhaust before 1 month, that's the end, or so if you're doing that, I'll advise that as you're done practicing, documenting what you practice, delete all the resources so that they don't consume your credits, because you only have $200 credits with that subscription. Yeah, Joe, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. Please, I had some network glitches. I don't know. You were saying something about Nigerian card working on Azure. I don't
Yes,
know. Can you pardon,
we
sir?
so I got some news. I don't know who have tried it, but people have been posting on our Azure commenting that they can use their Nigerian card. I think UPA or one other bank, right? But I'm not sure. I don't know who has used it before, so I'm not sure. I can't validate that, right? But what I've used in the past is the Nigerian Providus Bank, the Platinum card. I've used that before in the past. Yeah. But you can just give it a try and see. But that's what I've been hearing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. You have more questions? Okay, the packet is saying that it's working for me. GTV is working, so great news. So it's a GTV card. That means you can use it to open an Azure account and try. Yeah. Any other question? So one of the things I will also encourage us to do, if you go to github.com and you type in is a 500 here. So everything we've been discussing from the beginning of this year, right? There are labs that you can actually get your hand on from this GitHub portal, yeah? So these are labs, right? So for Defender for Cloud that we started our discussion today. So these are some labs you can try. I'm very sure some of them will be discussed. So you can just open these labs. So with your Azure credits, you're able to set up. So it will tell you, so there are some steps you can try here, how to deploy Azure Virtual Machine. Then you create a log and analytic workspace. So the lab scenario will actually tell you what you're trying to achieve here, right? So once you're able to follow through all these steps here, I'm very sure that it will boost your confidence, and you try to explain what you're trying to do at every instances. Yeah. Then another thing I will also encourage us to do also. So for the Microsoft has this apply skills, right? So for those Microsoft apply skills, they're actually practical based. Some of them they have labs. I'm trying to remember one of them. So if I type apply skills, so let me pick so this part of things we're going to discuss, but there's a particular one that I feel we can, since we are talking about security, yeah, this one, defend against Microsoft, even though it's focused on Defender XDR, but it's actually good that we get our hands on it. So if you go to the same GitHub, right, that same GitHub, just search for it here. So it's going to show you. So I don't think it has a repository. Let me go back. Okay, I think I didn't copy it completely. Yeah, defend is missing. Okay, enter. So I don't know if this is it, but it's supposed to actually have his own okay, let me open this. Okay. So this is not it. The ones should actually have a Microsoft Learn in front. Kapak, the search should work. Oh, another thing you can do, the exam code, I think is SC4006 or something, I can't remember. So you can get the exam code also. Let me see if I can get the exam code somewhere. So basically, once you're able to get it, if you try to do these apply skills, for example, now, is that same thing you've done in that lab that it will be the assessment? I've attempted it, I think earlier this year, I failed it. I was sleeping while I was in it. So you'll be able to basically, the labs will actually will help us to improve our skills. So those are the things I wanted to share with us. So if you have any questions, so either you find the exam code. I don't know how to get the exam code for the apply skills, unlike the other ones. Okay, I think there should be a way I can get it. Let me go to learn more. Security. Come on. Oh, they didn't put the code here also. There's a place they used to put all their codes for the apply skills. So you're able to get the code. Let me see. I'm checking through my my download folder. I downloaded some of the apply skills learning materials recently. Okay, let me try SA 5006 if it is it. 6. Okay, this one is a different one on security copilot. Let me try SC 5003. Let's see this. Information protection. SC 5008. Let me try that. So you can see that each of them, there are labs here. Okay, so this 5008 is intra entitlement management. So let me click on this. There should be a way to.
Is it PL 700?
I'm not sure you can give it a try. I don't know the code.
Yeah, try that. I think that's it.
Which one?
PL 7001.
Okay. That's Canvas House, Power Platform. So anything PA is Power Platform. But SC is security. So there are a lot of labs available. So I don't know the particular code for that particular one. So I've seen SIM here, configure SIM. It's still same thing, APL. So if I'm able to get the code, I'll share it on the WhatsApp group with us. Yeah. So they are actually very useful because it's the same thing that you're doing in the lab. Like for example, now, the same thing you're doing in this lab is the same question in the applied skills. So once you're able to complete this lab successfully, right? You go and attempt the same thing applied skills, you pass as applied skills. I recently discovered that because I attended some Microsoft ESI partner training, so I got to get that information. Yeah, Patrick, go ahead, please. Patrick, you're talking on mute.
Hello, yeah. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I want to appreciate you for the presentation, which you have actually done justice to. I appreciate. And yeah, colleague there, I don't really know his name, but I appreciate you, sir Damilola. Yeah. All right. So my question is this: you showed us there was something you actually showed us here how to you can do some labs on Azure. That was AC 500. Yes.
Yeah.
When you had to follow the incognito window and all that. So I'm like asking, must I have this user already created in the Entra Admin Center before I can use that email address? Or the user, can I just use a random email address to open that Azure account?
Random.
For this. Yeah.
Random. You can use a random. You mustn't be user. In fact, if I'm following the labs, I don't even create exactly what they say I should create. I create what I want to create, yeah. I don't follow it exactly the way, but I know what I want to create. Just for me to understand what the lab is trying to achieve. Then I create it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Joy, yeah. You had your hands up before. I can see you dropped your hand. Yeah, Joy, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. I just want to know, is there any free voucher one can get from here?
So for all these apply skills, right? They are free. Apply skills are free. Don't pay for it. And I'm just putting it out there. So I was able to hear some information that Microsoft will start charging for it. So at the moment we have 43 apply skills. So look at anyone that you would like to take, right? It's free. For example, now let's say I want to take this particular apply skills now. What I need to do is to go into the learning part, complete the learning part. Once I'm done completing the learning part, then you come down, just click on this post to start. So let me just start this to see how it looks. So you know that you have not completed your training. So he's flagging in that all this training that I have not completed it. So, but I don't mind. I'll say I don't want to start training. I want to start assessment. Yes. So it's going to open a lab environment for you like this. It's the same lab in that GitHub that was showing us. So this is one problem I'm actually just introduced. So you have to match. You have to match this thing. I think it's that one. So it's, I think you have to do like 4 times just to match the one that are connected. So mates.
So I'll go offline. Oh my goodness. Okay, my Afolabi. Yeah, I will do what I'm doing. You cannot see. But you can check here. Something. Please, I'll go offline.
So this one challenge about this whole thing. So once you just to verify your accounts to be sure you're a human being. That's why you have to do that verification. This one is even more easier, right? So ensure you have a very good internet because they are going to provision a lab environment for you like this. So they will tell you what to do, how to sign into the lab, right? So if you come here, step 1, log into the labs. So if you just click on this arrow to show your details, just click on the username, then click on the password. Come down, click on the password. So instead of just typing it, then you see enter. So it's open the virtual machines for you, right? So you can go through and read everything. So you can read the scenario, just follow the steps. So you have to open this email. The email is also here on this desktop here. So the email will tell you to be in your browser. So just launch your browser and let me open the email here. So this is the email anyway. So you're going to go through the email. So to give you the scenario, read through the scenario, what they want, then tell the first thing to do. These are existing environments, what you need to do, sign into. So you follow the steps. So this is now where the work starts. So you should clone this. So some of them it's not giving the steps to do it. So like this is why it's going to say, hello, we need it to use GitHub Copilot to generate some documentation. Our company has the following code document standard. So you follow it, not tell you do it. So it's not the one that will now start thinking how to do it. But the hack here is that go to GitHub here, go and search for that apply skills, right? That particular one. If you're lucky, there is the lab there. Just follow through that lab. So the lab is the same thing that you'll be doing inside this. I can't see my tab again. So it's a lab you'll be doing. So just the steps you've learned there. So that's what you'll be doing. By the time you're done doing all the scenarios, you do everything, then complete, then you just mark everything that is complete. Once you mark everything is complete and you submit your assessment, it's going to grade it for you. So it will take like some 10 minutes to grade. But mind you, anything you're pressing, they are capturing it. So if you press something that you're not supposed to press, it's a negative mark. So you have to be careful of where you want to press that is exactly what you want to press. So once you submit, they will grade it, but I don't want to submit, cancel. But if you failed or you cancel an assessment, before you can take it again, it's another 72 hours. It's another 72 hours. So like this one, because I didn't complete it, I canceled it. So to tell me I'll be able to take it again in 72 hours. I'm not planning to take that anytime soon. That's why I just did that as a demo for us. All right. Hope that answers your question. So there is no voucher. You don't need voucher for this. It's free. And by the time you pass it, Microsoft will give you an applied skill certificate.
All right, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We really appreciate your time on the call. And we're going to see you by next week where we're going to have Joy Emedo. Joy Emedo is one of our co-lead for the community. So for those of us that were in our session last week, I know you really enjoyed the session. If you miss a session, just go to our YouTube channel. You see the video there, and the video for today's session will also be uploaded on or before Monday, so you can have access to it. So thank you so much, everyone. See you next week.
Here, bye-bye. Thank you.